This is the intro.
Love this song.
I can't believe Ryan wrote this music himself.
1995.
All right, welcome to the second episode of the How to Ski It podcast. We have a new host slash guest slash
Friend slash skier slash
yes, Marcus Thomas. Welcome to the show.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So we talked about this in episode 1. We're a digital media company in Boulder, Colorado with no discernible name. And Marcus works at that company and we all ski together. And we also have Ryan here and I'm Dave. And episode 2, what makes episode 2 special is we went skiing for the first time today.
Skiing.
First time of the season.
Marcus went for the second
time for me. But,
got a leg up.
we can't all be top-notch skiers.
Yeah, we had to do family stuff for Thanksgiving, so unfortunately I didn't get to go skiing. But we went skiing today at
Eldora. And that brought up a good question, to not steal your thunder, but what was better, Eldora today or Copper Mountain on Friday?
Oh, man. You know what? Copper was better just because you could go like top to bottom 3,000 feet, but Eldora was better in that going in the afternoon, there was no crowd. So I left after like an hour or 30 minutes in Copper because it was just mobbed. That's the day after Thanksgiving. Today, going up at 1 p.m., cherry.
Who had better snow?
Copper.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Sense.
I mean,
it's higher in
it was corduroy. It was lovely.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to complain about the conditions. I believe it's the 29th of November, 2023. So it's still early, and everything we skied on today was pretty much man-made snow.
Yeah.
And there were a couple spots that were slick, is the polite way to put it.
Ice skating.
But overall, I got my quads got burning. I think I made a few thousand turns, only like 7,000 or 8,000 vertical feet. So nothing big, but you got to get started somewhere.
Yeah, and that goes back to the how to ski it mantra is how did we ski it? You don't ski down the middle of the run, right? Like if you want to, that's where the sheets of ice are. So I do, Dave does, Marcus does. We stick to the sides of the run. All that slough gets pushed off to the side. And there was actually some places with decent snow. It was cold. It wasn't too warm. A little overcast, and I mean, I was happy with the result. Definitely had the legs burning, but that's how we skied it.
That's how we skied it.
I had a great time today. I felt like for Eldora, that wasn't even the worst snow at Eldora I've skied at.
By far.
By far.
Yeah, it gets I was going to say that was like middle of the road for how the front side can be. And we're not trying to give Eldora a hard time. We're big fans, and you'll hear that throughout the show.
Love Eldora. But
it's early season. We did park in the front row at 1 p.m., so that any day you park in the front row is huge.
Yeah. Talk to us, Dave, about getting greedy. What's the importance of getting greedy when you show up?
So, first of all, we should dedicate a whole episode to parking at Mary Jane. But you got to get greedy. And don't be a jerk. Like, I'm not saying like you park people in or whatever, but if you come up in the afternoon, you go take a look at the front row first. And then sometimes I'll just settle my expectations right at that point and head to the back. But I'll still go look at the front row first if they'll let you. Sometimes now they're like, no.
Well, now they have the HOV parking at Eldora. Again, our co-guest star,
The
Rose.
tax hound is squeaking his toy.
He wants to be involved.
So before we started today, I said, and Melinda skied with us, and I said, should we have Melinda take the dogs because she went to do errands? And we said, no, we'll leave him. The tax hound can be on the show. And then today he's not barking, he's squeaking. So back to the skiing, the parking lot, not a huge fan of the parking lot at Eldora's dirt, but it was cold enough that it wasn't super muddy today. Well, Mel found mud and trapped it in the van.
Somehow. But she still wants carpet in the van, right?
That's what I didn't get. She's like, if we only had carpet, this mud would be on the carpet. But it was a good day overall, and it was so awesome to get back to skiing. And you know what? Here's a how to ski it tip. And it may be a bad advice, but I took my brand new skis skiing today, and those are my new Rossignol Sender TI. I can never remember the name because it's such a ridiculous name. And having sharp edges today was amazing. And everybody else was skiing on their rock skis and struggling a little bit with the conditions. So sometimes this time of year, before you start going off the trail, before you start skiing the trees, you can get away with skiing with brand new skis.
Did you notice what skis I had today?
Marcus was skiing on like a 6 or 7 year old pair of Solomon Lords, which were some of my favorite skis I've ever skied on. I just got the new Solomon Lords every year they came out.
Yeah, they're still sweet. I love those.
It's a great all mountain ski.
Yeah.
So, what'd you ski on?
My Liberties, kind of the
usual.
daily driver. Got them at a consignment shop in Winter Park last year and haven't taken them off.
How about your new poles? I noticed.
Dude.
Where'd you pick those bad boys up?
The Arc thrift store for $10, a pair of old Scott 52-inch or 58-inch. I need to cut them down. They were way too big today. But just goes to show you can get good gear at the thrift store. I wouldn't buy a pair of skis there unless it was like Gaper Day, but I did get a nice pair of poles, big baskets. I got the thumb breaker grips, no straps. I mean,
I don't know how anybody skis without straps. If I didn't have straps, I would still be on the mountain sidestepping up to find my poles.
Well, speaking of finding stuff, what happened to your gloves today, dude?
Yeah, you want to walk us through that?
Yeah, I don't know how much I appreciate you guys bringing this story up. So, yeah, I got to be honest. I don't know how it happened, but as I got up to the top of the chair on the front side, I don't remember what they call that chair, the main 6-man chair.
Alpenglow?
Alpenglow, that's what it's called. I was having a hard time with my AirPods.
To be fair, you were on a work call.
And I got up from the chair and I left my gloves sitting on the seat. And then I didn't even notice. I skied off and I'm messing with the AirPods and my phone and all this stuff. And then I got ready to ski off and I put the straps, which everybody should have on their poles, around my wrist. And that's when I was like, uh-oh. And then I looked back and they just weren't there. And I said, how did this happen? Like, did somebody pick them up and just take off? Like, it was 10 seconds. And I guess they just went on the chair and went around the horn. And then,
yeah, we went and talked to the lift ops at the base and said, hey, keep an eye out for my buddies' brown and black Marmot gloves. The next thing you know, we're on the chairlift going up, and there they are.
They're coming back down.
Someone had clipped them to the bar, and we were like, oh, well, look at that.
And wait, but while we were going back up to ski another run and we saw your gloves, where were you at?
Yeah, I lost faith like super fast. And I did about a half a run without gloves. And then I was like, this isn't going to work. None of this sounds like expert skier stuff.
I'd agree.
So then I went to the ski shop at Eldora, and you guys might not know this, but they've renovated it, and it's way bigger than it used to be, and it's totally legit. And
it's not just a cut through to the bathroom
and
anymore.
I got sales support when I walked in. Like, the guy was like, what are you looking for? And I just went straight up, cheap gloves. And it's kind of funny, the interaction, because he said, okay, do you want cheap gloves or like great gloves? And I was like, well, I lost my gloves. So then he was like, so you want great gloves? And he totally talked me into this, like buying new ski gloves, like regular. I would have gotten some trash bags over my hands. So I got some new gloves. Ryan, what were they?
Candy grind.
Yeah, they're cool. They're cool.
I think it's.
I like
they're great.
The fact they had the touchscreen thing in the finger is pretty sweet.
But I put them in my pocket when I got my old gloves back, so I haven't really skied with them yet.
Are they still in your pocket?
I was about to say, did you lose them again?
No, I put them in my ski bag when we got done. So anyway, I don't think we have to go on and on.
Wait, one more with that story. How long have you been skiing?
I've been skiing I'm 54 years old, and I've been skiing, according to my parents, since I was 2.
And how many times have you lost your gloves?
You know what? I have lost my gloves once before. So one time night skiing. Oh, I can't believe I'm telling this story. One time night skiing at Keystone, I dropped my glove off one of the chairlifts into like the under the lift, dark, definitely not supposed to be skiing there, at night. It's not one of the areas that's open. and I just skied down there and got it. And they weren't happy about it, that's for sure, because like you're skiing down under the lift in the dark. But I got my glove back, and I got my glove back today, so it's all good.
It's all
So
that
you've
matters.
never lost a glove on the mountain?
That's all that matters.
I don't think I have.
I mean, dropping one is way worse than just completely losing them,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I don't think I have.
You completely lose them, you can just be like, oh, no, I didn't bring them. I got to go buy
Yeah,
a new
I mean,
pair.
Plenty of excuses.
What are you talking about?
Okay, well, as long as we're throwing people under the bus,
Math?
yeah, math is like, and math is so important to skiing. It's like how many people fit on the chair. And so there's 5 of us today, and we get to the bottom of the chair, and Ryan just gets on the chair all by himself. And we're like, nice social. Like, I was like, man, he must be having a rough day or something. And we get up to the top, and we're like, dude, you don't want to ride with us? And he was like, it's a 4-man chair, and there was 5 of us. What were we supposed to do?
He's like, somebody had to ride alone.
Like there was no other options.
There wasn't.
Like we couldn't
In my brain, I was in ski brain mode. I said, you know what? I'm going to take one for the team here. I'm going to let them 4 pack up. I'll take one by myself. And honestly, what I was thinking is like, hell yeah, I'm going to take a chair by myself, and I'm going to get to put the bar down and put my feet on this feet rest. My dogs are barking. There's no feet rest on
Dude, Indian Peaks? What are you talking about?
And I was like, dang, this didn't work out in my favor. And again, granted, I did think in my head, oh, it's a 4-person lift. There's 5 of us. I'll let 4 people go.
And what math did we learn today?
I was taught that you could have broken it up into 3 and 2. And
then
so
no one has to go alone.
I could have had a buddy, and you know.
I think that would have been nice 3 and 2, but the way we did it is 1, 2, and 2.
So who's really bad at math here? But
You know,
this is exactly why I have the podcast, is because these stories would never get told. They get forgotten. This is 2 great stories in one ski day for 7,000 feet. That's pretty good.
And we have 10 people downloaded the podcast. And
Yeah.
after we had 10 people watch the video,
we
made
started a podcast.
And now that we have 10 people watching the podcast, I don't know what's next. Is some kind
I
of
think
live
we-
show or something.
Buy a Porsche.
Reality TV.
Ooh, reality TV show
I
where we
like that.
throw each other down the mountain.
Yeah, ski bunnies.
Now you're talking.
Overall, great day. It's good to be back. If you haven't been up skiing, it's worth it. Like my quads, I felt it today, and that's such a good sign to me as I've gotten older and stuff. But that means obviously I'm not fit, but I'm gonna start getting fit. So I was really happy. I made a lot of turns today. I had brand new sharp edges, which I thought was a great idea for today. And I did hit a patch of ice and almost fall on the last run.
I mean, that was my goal going into today, is just
Fall?
get back on. No, it's usually inevitable, but no, just get back on skis, get back on your feet, break in the boots, get a feel for it, make a ton of turns. Now, I'm not going, very seldomly did I go fast today. It's like, I'm not in the mood to fall. I'm here to just be back on snow and get the legs working. And I think it's Dave's quote, it takes 10 days before you're ready to ski. I mean, it really does. After the way my legs felt today, I was like, yeah, we got some work to do here, buddy. So it's going to take a couple more days on snow to really feel like bring on the snow, which I think is in the forecast.
Yeah, this weekend.
We need it.
So, question for both of you. I am a much newer skier than either of you. What early season tips and tricks do you have? This year I've gone twice now, and that's the most I've ever done early season since I started skiing 4 years ago, I think. You guys took me the first time. But what early season tips are there that how do I ski early season?
I've always said this, what Ryan just said is, and this isn't a high bar. There's going to be people that are going to laugh at how low this bar is. But you need to get 10 days in before January 1st, regardless of the conditions. So if it's a terrible December, you still got to go up there, because here's the thing. It's going to snow this year. There's going to be powder days. And like last year, it just came out of nowhere next week. And all of a sudden we were skiing, shin deep powder and steamboat and skiing the steeps. And the season just started like a bang. And I wasn't fit last year, and I don't think it's going to be like that this year. But, what was it, 2 years ago, we had that huge day on Christmas Day at Copper Mountain.
Oh, my gosh.
And we were so unprepared for it.
And then it impacts your ski day. When that snow does come, I mean, you can't sustain knee-deep powder all day if you're out of shape. It's just too much on the body. And I think the other thing is the beginning of the season is the new gear. Get on the new gear. Like, if you got new stuff, break in the boots, sweat in the boots, let them mold to your feet.
Break in the boots.
That's the biggest advice I can give to somebody with new equipment or just starting is take them out of the ski shop. Don't let them mold them. Don't let them do anything crazy. Go ski in them. They'll break themselves in, but it takes about 10 days. Your feet are going to hurt. My feet hurt today.
Did you say don't let them mold them at the ski shop?
Go ski on them first.
Really?
When you're standing in ski boots, you don't stand or walk in ski boots. You ski in ski boots, right? So if you're standing there at the ski shop, they all know what they're doing, yes, but the pressure points could be different. So now if you're punching out, your bunion rather than the outside of your foot, your ski boot's too big. Go ski on them and figure out what they feel like, and then they can help you out when you go back.
I know, and again, this is probably like the people at Christie's are probably going to call. I've only done the heat molding on one pair of boots, and I don't think this is why the boots sucked, but I got rid of those boots halfway through a season, and it's not because of the heat molding, but I've only done it once, and the last pair of boots I got last year, which are not the boots I skied on today, but it was a pair of K2 backcountry boots. They were like, what? You're not going to put them in the microwave and let us mold them? And I was like, no, I'm just going to go see how they feel. And then I never went back. They felt great. And it wasn't free, at least when I got the K2s. Like, they wanted a couple $100.
Most of the time they'll hook you up. But I think more of my point is, you're going to sweat in your boots, which is heat, right? Mm-hmm. So essentially all they're doing is putting them in the oven and then they cool down. When you go skiing after the third run, your feet are sweating whether you feel it or not.
Right.
And so you'll essentially mold them yourself to your foot more naturally than standing in a ski shop because you're going to be actively skiing in them. It was always my advice to people buying boots when I was working in the industry. And bro just wants all the attention today.
He wants all the attention.
But I could ramble on. That's a whole other episode is boots. We could do a whole episode on boots. Because
on boots.
I mean, seriously, there's so much that goes into boot fitting and proper boot fitting.
You don't like the squeaker?
I don't know. Like, we're like an AV company and we're supposed to be more professional.
We've all got these pro microphones and headphones on, and we're like, yeah, this is going to sound great. And then you just hear squeaking in the background.
And now I took it from him, and I'm the bad guy.
Yeah,
you are.
There's two dogs here in the studio, and they're in the studio every day. And it's Broski, and he's like what's called a Sprocker. So that's a Springer Spaniel, Cocker Spaniel mix. And then there's Chicken Ted McNuggets, which is like a mini Cocker Spaniel. We didn't get a mini Cocker Spaniel, but that's what he turned out to be. So he's about, Cocker Spaniels are small, and Chicky T or Chicken Ted McNuggets is half the size of a normal Cocker Spaniel. But they like tennis balls.
And they're ridiculously cute. They're great to have around. So we don't mind the squeakers. And if you do, you know what? Undownload the podcast.
So everything was good today at Eldora. I'm a big fan. Let's talk about a couple things that Marcus is like, I want to be on the show because you guys were so off the mark on mega passes.
Yeah.
And how could mega passes be anything but great?
Oh, man, over here talking to people. Oh, I grew up in ski area. I grew up in West Texas. You know what snow was in West Texas? It didn't exist. It was ridiculous. And then I move here, and you guys are like, oh, ski passes are a bad thing. You guys bought both ski passes this year, and you want to come on this podcast and act like they're a bad thing? That's the only reason I get to ski multiple ski areas.
I don't.
Yeah.
So I don't remember saying they're a bad thing.
Yeah, Dave and I are looking at each other because we're a little confused.
I think what we said was, are the mega passes, I think Ryan said it, and somebody could go back and look at the tape, but we said they're good for the consumer, but how are they for these cities? How are they for, the ski areas like Eldora, like when it's so crowded and stuff like that? And how is it for the environment? I-70, the mega passes didn't create I-70. Our civic leaders created I-70.
Our glorious leaders.
But that was the question. It wasn't that we were just bashing on them. But one of the things that I was talking to you guys about today, and if you don't read unofficial networks, it's like, to me, it's like, it's such a great website, and I call it a publication that covers all this stuff in the ski industry. And one of the articles they had is Vail could be forced in Park City to release how they come about this thing called the comfortable carrying capacity. And that's like, how much can the ski area handle and still be like and you know, our states give these guys tax breaks and stuff like that. And cities give them tax breaks and all these things. And how much is this comfortable number that still works for everybody is my understanding what it is. But then here's the catch. And I'm not bagging on Vail because I'm going to ski there on Friday and I'm a big fan, but they're like, that's proprietary. And so, and then, okay, fair enough. That should be proprietary. It's a big industry and we get that. But a lot of places, and if you get a chance, go read this article, like Park City, their civic charters say, hey, we have to consider this CCW and we have to consider growth in the environment if we're going to do expansions. And Vail has come in and said, our CCW says we're good to go, but we're not going to tell you how we came about it. It's just, you got to trust us that it's good. And again, I'm not taking a side right there because we talked about how we're, in general, ski area expansion probably isn't a great thing. At least that's where I stand, except I'm super excited for the Heroes expansion in Aspen this year. But, and it's just interesting. So check out the article on Unofficial Networks and tell me what you glean from it. But this CCW is fascinating. Like, how do they come about this number and what is it? And they had somewhere in there, and I'm just perusing through, they had like, here's what it typically it comes to create it. And it's like the acreage, the number of people, the vertical rise, and all these, and the carrying capacity of the chairlifts and all this stuff. And it makes sense when you look at it that way. Is it still good? Like, is it
sustainable?
Eldora on a Saturday powder day is not good. No, and again, I don't mean to pick on them, so I shouldn't even use them. Most Colorado front range ski areas are not good on a Saturday powder day unless you're going to go ski like these backside lifts, and you got to know these little tricks like we mentioned at Copper Mountain, the A lift. Nobody skis the A lift. I doubt people ski chair 10 at Vail still to this day, even though it's all bumps and now it's a high-speed quad. But anyway, that's where I think we were trying to start the conversation about ski passes, mega passes. Are they good if it just blows this CCW up? And it has made Eldora different.
I mean, at the same time, it's like an economic impact thing. And I think expansion is great if it's sustainable and it's responsible. But when someone's not disclosing how they're getting to the reason they want to expand, it's a little difficult to be like, oh yeah, they're doing the right thing.
Well, let me play with devil's advocate. Skiing is not something I would have ever gotten into if not for you guys. I only ski because we, as a team, as friends, go and ski.
Fair enough.
Now, if I were to not be friends with you guys, I would probably continue skiing. But it's because you guys introduced me to it. But if the goal of skiing is to be a sport that allows people to be a part of it, if that's the goal, then these ski passes, these mega ski passes are an improvement. My thinking as a person who didn't grow up skiing, who doesn't know skiing outside of mega passes, is you keep it exclusive by making people either pick a resort or buy day passes. And because the resorts and the industry has grown, they have now started price gouging, and a day pass to Copper is a $125, $150, I think.
Yeah, on the low
Ish.
end.
It's like twice that.
You think
like
for
around
Copper?
Christmas.
Oh, it depends. Again,
Yeah,
it depends.
yeah, depends on the day.
You know what I found out recently? Sorry to interrupt. Is I think it's Thursdays. They have wildly discounted lift tickets, like $100 or so. Like, I don't know the number. We'll have to look it up. But sorry, yeah. But yes, you're correct. What if they lowered their prices to day rate?
Well, that's the thing is, back in the day, skiing, if you brought the family up and you wanted to go ski, and this is something you guys mentioned, is it used to be $50 per lift ticket per day.
Yeah.
Okay. You got a family of 4, that's $200. You rent your skis and
season,
whatever you
another-
need.
yeah.
Okay. It's a little more reasonable. Now, I don't want to say greed, but it feels that way. These corporations have taken over, and now it's corporations setting how much they can get away with to make it more exclusive. And that, to me, is why these mega passes seem good. But maybe mega passes are the problem. Maybe mega passes are why day rates are gone up, because they're wanting people to buy the mega passes. I don't know.
Or vice versa. Everyone has a mega pass, so they're not selling day tickets, so they
Yeah.
hike up the price for people that are.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. Maybe Dave knows what these mountains get in kickback, right? So, say there's 40 mountains on a pass. What does each one of those 40 people or 40 mountains get in return for someone buying an Icon or an Epic pass, other than food and beverage or parking?
Right.
Like, what is their kickback? How does Epic and Icon pay these mountains? And is that a reason that lift tickets are so high? Is because they're not getting compensated for the traffic? Like, I have no idea how that works. And I'd
Yeah.
be fascinated to look more into it. But you bring up a great point. If lift tickets are lower, and you're a skier of 10 times a year, if they lower prices, maybe I don't need a pass for $1,000.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're $75 a ticket, and $750. You're
And you can go around to whatever you want rather than being locked in.
yeah. But I'd be fascinated to know how the breakdown of profit sale works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what did Eldora make on us 5 going up there with Icon passes today? Like
Yeah.
$5?
Well, because we didn't buy anything. Well, other
Whatever,
than
dude.
Dave's gloves.
I got new gloves.
But so there's a perfect example.
Yeah.
They got the traffic through the Icon Pass. He lost his gloves, and so he had to buy another pair. But what does that equate to over a season in profit and loss?
And I had a great experience in the Eldora ski shop. So, and I'm not joking here. I might consider, like, if I needed something and I was going up there, just wait and check it out. I thought the pricing was, fair. I mean, it's expensive, but fair. And they had cool stuff.
I mean,
Like,
how much more expensive than REI is it?
I don't know. I've never heard of that brand before. What is it again?
Candy Grind. It's a good brand, but I
like 'em.
I
They're
agree.
great.
I would prefer to go to a ski shop at a hill rather than a Christie's.
Whoa, that's my dog there.
I'm just saying, that's my preference. I'd rather go to Loveland Ski Shop and talk to them and they hook me up than
I'm sure you're not biased on that.
No, not even a little bit. But no, in all seriousness, an Eldora shop rather than go to a REI, where it's just another kid who's just getting paid.
I don't have a ski shop like I used to, and like I have a bike shop,
Right? Do they exist anymore?
and I
Mom
don't.
and pop.
I don't have a ski shop, and so I go to Christie's a lot, and I go to Christie's in Copper Mountain, and there's times I'll drop my skis off at Christie's in Copper Mountain, and they'll get them done up the next day. And I wish I could remember the name of the place in Steamboat. I did that last year because they made my skis so sharp. It was so amazing. But anyway, I don't have a ski shop like I used to, and this is Christie's here in Boulder, and you get good service wherever you go, but. Also, I go to Epic Mountain Sports, which used to be called Boulder Ski Deals.
Yeah.
And there's this one guy, and I wish I knew his name. He's been there for 20-some years, and he still recognizes me, and I get the best service. And I took some skis in there to get mounted last year, and he's like, when are you skiing? And I was like, well, I wanted to go, on Sunday. And he's like, well, we'll get them done. And I was like, awesome, And so that's something interesting, like, why don't we have ski shops like we have bike shops? Or do other people have that and I don't?
Oh, I think it's because of the big, corner stores.
Epic Ski Deals.
Yeah.
It's a big store now.
Epic
Well,
Mountain
but
Gear.
they don't have. How many stores do they have?
I mean, there's one in Westminster and one in Boulder. I go to
Okay.
the one in Westminster. It's just down the road from me.
And
And-
I
and
don't
look,
care
I-
how many they have. I live in Boulder, and they have a
And-
gigantic one.
yeah,
It's like
and-
a Walmart.
And again, I'm not knocking good service.
Right.
Like Christie's knows what they're doing. I've sent people there to get fitted for boots, and they come back and like, that was the greatest experience of my life. But I know some of the big stores, mom and pops can't compete. I worked at a ski shop on the East Coast that mom and pops got bought out by. Like it just, it is what it is. But as long as it's good service at the end of the day, I guess it doesn't matter. But if there's a mom and pop shop, I would prefer to go there over.
You know what I did last year?
What's that?
I bought a pair of skis at REI and boots.
And got them mounted at Christie's.
No, I bought them at REI. The whole reason I bought them at REI is when I was in there, the guy was like, I'll turn and burn those tomorrow. And I was going to go up to Steamboat, and it was my uphill skis. And sure enough, they turned and burned them. And then I'm going to give REI a great plug here. The boots just didn't work out. They were like 120, which is a stiffness rating. And they were like if I had to rate them, would be like a 90. And I just took them back and said, these are just way too soft. And they refunded my money because they didn't have what I wanted. And then I went over to Christie's and bought a pair of like these 130s that were stiffer. And I didn't want to like just return them. Like I hate that, but they just were so, it was like old time Nordic, leather boots is what they felt like.
And I will say REI has the programs in place, return it for any reason at any time.
It was amazing.
Like they're you know what?
Man, I love REI.
Yeah, it's hard.
I know that's not what we're talking about here.
I know. I'm down the middle on it.
Can we get back to the subject, though? Because I took the time,
absolutely.
and I should have had my laptop, but I'm doing this on my phone. But you were like, how much are lift tickets at Copper Mountain?
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and I didn't know this, and probably some of our listeners are like, duh. It's different price like almost every day. So today it's $169.
What?
And then tomorrow's $159, and Friday's $159. And then there's a bunch of days coming up. It's all $159. And then it just jumps off the page. It goes up to $179. It looks like on the 16th of December. But then on the 21st of December, it's $99.
Whoa.
I'm just getting this off their website because if I didn't have a pass, that's usually a good day to go skiing.
Yeah, no one's there.
And then it goes up to $204.
What?
Starting the 23rd, we're talking December 23rd, 24th.
Okay, so the Christmas.
25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, it goes down to $199, and it looks like it's $199 through the 6th of January. So way different prices, but here it is. You heard it on How to See It.
Wild.
I don't think it's a typo. It's December 21st. It says on their website, $99 tickets at Copper
I
Mountain.
guess nobody goes the 21st.
Is there anything on
get it up?
I do.
Well, I guess people buying day passes don't. They're trying to get that number up.
Yeah, it's kind of a good day to ski because it's the Christmas crowds haven't gotten to the ski areas, and then it's just a good day to ski.
I think that points to it exactly.
Thursday.
Is they're trying to get people on that good day of skiing because not as many people are there. That's why it's a good day. But then 2 days later, the crowds show up and it's $209.
Is that the only Thursday? It's $99.
That's the only one so you can look at it by
website.
month. So I can jump into like January, and yeah, you're right. The 4th of January you're still paying $199, but then the 11th is $99, the 18th is $99. And somebody did mention that the other day, like $99 tickets at Copper Mountain on Thursdays.
Yeah.
So kudos to them because on the talk of the mega passes, if you can afford $1,000 pass and then you ski 50 times a year, you're driving that price way down. But if you can't, this is an okay price because skiing is valuable. Like a 6-hour day on the mountain at Copper Mountain is easily worth $99.
I agree.
I think the hard part I feel like way more of an outsider to skiing. For me, as someone who didn't ski growing up, if you were like, hey, $99 to go ski. Okay, let's say I have that Thursday available. I can go ski that day. Perfect. So that's $99 that gets me on the mountain. Now I got to go get a helmet. I got to make sure I have clothes warm enough. I got to make sure I got boots. I've got to make sure I've got, and yeah, a lot of that can be rented. And if you're going to ski often, at certain points you figure out, okay, what's worth investing to purchase versus rent. But it's this weird barrier to entry that is so expensive. And to say, oh, well, you can ski on Thursday. Great. I work on Friday. I also work on Thursday. I can't get up to the mountain.
Yeah.
I can't get up to the mountain for $100. Even if I owned everything else, I can't get up to the mountain for $100 because I can't go on Thursday.
And it's
It's a tough break,
Yeah.
but it's better than not having the $99 tickets on Thursdays.
That's true.
So,
Is it-
and
It gives you the option.
I'd say let's make a How to Ski It day at Copper Mountain on December 21st.
Yeah.
And granted, we have ski passes, but
see what it's like.
Yeah.
I mean, not only that, but you bring up a great point, and we mentioned it in the last podcast. Skiing isn't accessible; it's expensive.
It is.
it's not. It's terrible.
it-
And there's
it-
what are you going to do? There's a lot of money in this. It's not free to run a ski area.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
it's not like it's health insurance where you're just getting taken for a ride.
Right.
But it's also top dollar.
And it's also the equipment. The equipment isn't cheap to make or to buy. It's just all of it is just expensive. And we talked about how do you get more people into the sport without lowering the cost. I mean, it's hard. I don't
Mega
know.
passes.
I was about to say, I think that's why I'm such a proponent of mega passes is if you want to go, look, if you want to go one time in the year, $99 is not a bad price. $99 plus, I guess, probably about $100 to rent for the day, maybe even less than that, depending on where you go to rent. Okay, $200, you go full day, that's great. But if you want to ski all season, that's why I do think that the Mega Pass is such a good thing. And you guys mentioned it's a good thing for consumers. I don't think that I would ski. I don't think I'd buy a pass to an individual mountain. Maybe Eldora just because it's 30 minutes from the office.
I mean, if I lived in Aspen, I'd just buy an Aspen pass. But
oh, yeah, if you lived in Aspen.
again, one can dream.
Yeah. Talk about not affordable.
No, seriously. No, but I think you bring up a really good point that even if you're coming out here for a long weekend bachelor party, you might want to look into buying an $800 Epic Pass if you're going to Breckenridge. Like, the prices, you're talking $200 at Copper.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
if you
for
get one of
3
those
days,
passes-
that's $600. You might, and now look at the other resorts that wherever you live might. So, on the consumer end, it's good for me and Dave and you,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Absolutely.
if I
So what's the CCC, the comfortable carrying capacity, going to be on the 21st of December? Do you think Copper Mountain would talk to us about that subject? And I'd like to hear if you guys think Copper Mountain will talk to us about comfortable carrying capacity, and I'll at least give them a call and find out. I'm going to say right now they're going to say
Pound sand.
no. They're going to say please hold.
I
cue the
doubt.
music.
I don't think any ski area, unless it becomes mandated. So you said that the
It's a court case.
The
in
Park City
City.
stuff.
Park City.
It'll be really interesting to see the end of this.
yeah.
Because if they say, hey, no, you have to disclose how you're getting to this number and what this number means.
Then we can figure it out ourselves once
Exactly.
they tell us
Yeah,
the
exactly.
number.
But
And
I think-
anyone can.
I think if Park City ends up forcing the ski area to do it, I think that's going to set a precedent, and other skiers are going to have to do it, and they would love to talk about it because they're going to want to convince everyone in the world why that number matters. When we look at it and go, I'm sorry, you said like 700, but you have 8,000 people on the mountain, and I still enjoy skiing, but you're saying 700, and that's why you need to expand,
Right.
You know what I mean?
More importantly, it would become uniform.
Yeah.
There would be a number that everybody. So right now it's proprietary because I'm sure every place is different.
No, dude, they all talk to they all have the same
But
number
I'm saying,
anyway.
but you can make
Liars.
I mean, it's just you could. I'm
Yeah,
not
they
saying
probably use it to benefit themselves.
Yeah,
But imagine as a
exactly.
consumer if you could find that out.
Yeah.
And imagine if you were like, oh, the comfortable carrying capacity at that place is whacked on Saturday.
Yeah.
yeah.
And to be clear, it's not Park City. It's a group of 4 people that are in Park City, and they're trying to hold the ski area accountable to the city charters
Oh, okay.
of Park City. And one of the ways to do that is to make them prove that this is reasonable, sustainable, achievable, yada yada da, growth and stuff like that. And again, we talk. I don't like growth and stuff. I was disappointed that Eldora didn't get approved to expand the Corona.
Yeah.
It was supposed to go a few hundred more vertical feet up and down, I believe. And for a place I'd love to ski, I thought that was great. But I also don't live, down below that chairlift and stuff where the town of Eldora is. And I'm my understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the pushback came from the town of Eldora, which is very much different than Eldora Mountain Resort.
And that's where it should come from. I mean, if it's going to affect somebody's life, if I lived in that town, it was going to affect me negatively. Why wouldn't I stand up? That's what we have, the right to do.
Well, so we'll find out. We're going to ask Copper Mountain and see if they'll respond.
Get him.
Tax sound.
The tax hound. Somebody just got to the studio, which means Mel is back, which means it's probably time to wrap up the podcast.
You think she brought snacks?
We'll try to get some more information about the CCW. Our frequency for our podcast is, if you're curious, is, we've talked about that. Should we do it weekly? And one of the reasons we're doing one tonight is Ryan goes to Palm Springs tomorrow for work. Again, we've talked about we're an AV company. He's going to Palm Springs to do AV, Rough Life. And we're going to just do it when we ski. And I know I'm going up to visit my folks up in Pitkin County this weekend. And I'm hoping to either hit Vail or Beaver Creek on the way up there. I don't think I'll use one of my 7 punches at the Aspen ski areas this weekend because of the lack of snow.
Yeah.
So I could see Vail one way, Beaver Creek, or Copper Mountain.
Although you saw what they got early in the season. They have some of the highest snow totals.
No, they're Aspen's hooray, we open tomorrow was borderline an apology.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw it on social and it was just hey, so it's going to be a great day and we did our best. So
poor guys.
Yeah, and I know it's not their fault, but yeah, and I'm sure higher in elevation and there's some north face. I'll bet you could ski.
Bring your skins.
I bet you could ski the Highlands Bowl if it was open right now. That wind loads and fills up, but we're getting there. Don't panic. It's going to be okay. Get out there and get some skiing in. If you're too uppity to go skiing on this slight snow, I would probably run some stadium stairs or something like that, because one of the ways to stave off injury, or at least give yourself the best chance to not be injured, is go into ski season with some fitness, or build fitness. As today, we just skied blue squares, and build that fitness before you're in the double diamond chutes and stuff like that, before you're skiing turbo chute at A Basin.
Box jumps, squats, stairs.
I saw you catch some air today. It was way too early for me. I was no, I'm 54 years old. Ryan's in his 20s and Marcus is in his 30s, and I will catch some air today, or some air this year, but not today.
I regretted it.
Yeah, you almost died on that one, I think.
Yeah, I landed on one foot, across the tips, but you know what? That's skiing.
That's how you get.
That's how you
gotta
done.
catch. You got to catch a bunch of airs before your knees are strong enough to catch major air. So, at least for me, this is the How to Ski It podcast. We're going to promise you every episode that we're going to be more organized and dialed in the future, and I hope we're not. But I hope we're talking about skiing the Glades up at Copper Mountain. I hope we're talking about skiing the new Heroes Lift in Aspen soon. And I hope we're heading over. Sorry, Utah. We totally ignored you today. I hope we're over to Utah. And I want to go to Sun Valley this year. I mentioned that on the last episode. I want to make it to Sun Valley this year. So if you're in Sun Valley and you want to show us how to ski it in Sun Valley, I think January is going to be a good time for Sun Valley.
I promise authenticity as well. It's going to be us, unapologetically.
Yeah, you guys are drinking beer.
Yeah.
So are you, kind of.
So real quick before we leave, what are you drinking?
Some hometown brew.
Avery.
The Avery Hop Freaks Nomadic Dreamer Hazy. 40 IBU. It doesn't have an
6.7.
6.7.
It's not too bad.
I'm a Coors Light guy at the end of the day. Just going to throw that out there for...
Yeah, he's going to need a nap.
Yeah,
and I'm drinking Athletic Brew.
Why is that?
Personal record. I'm taking a breather coming in. I know we'll probably do a podcast episode from Haines City next week. A big chunk of our How to Ski It team and a big chunk of our company is going to Haines City next week to compete in the Ironman 70.3 Florida, and we're just barely going to finish if we finish. Nobody.
Fingers crossed.
Nobody did the right training. Nobody. So that'll be fun to see. And we'll talk about that when we get back.
Is that soul racing?
Soul,
It's stupid racing,
it's
that's for
soul
sure.
triathloning.
Yeah.
But again, we're going to talk about skiing, not triathlons.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
Come on.
There's a ski shop in Tampa, Florida, just for the record.
No way.
Yes, there is.
I'm
Are we
gonna-
going there?
We have to.
We got to go there. We got to interview him.
I don't know that I'm going to go there, but maybe. I'll tell you what. If it's on the way
Well,
from
yeah,
the Tampa airport to Haines
Haines
City,
City, yeah.
we'll stop and check it out.
absolutely.
I need a sticker.
From this like Tampa Steeps.
Well, anyway, I'm Ryan.
I'm Marcus.
I'm Dave. I'm going to cue our song again. Here we go. Let me bring it up. There we go. Join us again in the next, I don't know, time we go skiing. We're going to try to do one of these every week. It's the How to Ski It podcast. The soul, the heart, the
I forget.
the team that does it without notes.
Turn that up.